Good morning. The title for today is OPPT, because our contract is fulfilled. I remembered what it was that I forgot in yesterday's video by listening to the Collective Imagination program before going to bed last night. And that is what I've been pondering in meditation this morning. Heather, Lisa, and the Australian OPPT crew have suggested that our cosmic contract in having created the separation experiment is now fulfilled. As I'm interpreting this, the idea was to see if, having forgotten our connection to Source and entering a polarized matrix, we would be able to remember who and what we were, namely, children of one Creator. Would we, taking our inheritance and going into the far country, Earth or Gaia, be able to come to ourselves and make the conscious choice to return home? Heather said it would only take one to do it for all the rest. I suggest that a critical mass may be required, and I think we have done that. Those that step into the energy of the OPPT are declaring to ourselves, the world, and the cosmos, I'm home. Someone sent me the Casper Report, furious that it was posted on an Asara website. And Casper is supposedly revealing the resistance to the OPPT and to any positive change, and that Obama is the center of the resistance. That I don't know, but I just read it just before coming on, so that diverted my attention a little bit away from what I was meditating on earlier, which is what the blurb and the title are about. And I know there's going to be resistance, and we need to be aware that those that have been entrenched in the current system are not going to like the fact that we're home, or that we see ourselves as home. So the game is not over, the ride is not finished. Although in a sense it is in the higher realms, it hasn't fully manifested in the lower realms. And how that manifestation takes place still remains to be seen. And I still encourage each of us to stay as focused and centered as possible on the reality that the prodigal son, the prodigal daughter, have returned home to the Father, to the kingdom, if you will. And I know some people don't like kingdom or queendom, or they don't like the idea of there being a monarch. And I understand that based on our recent history that we're aware of, that goes way back, our recent history of becoming aware, shall I say. But the coming to ourselves, the coming to awareness of the world that we've been living in, is certainly an essential part of the process of this prodigal journey that Jesus told about in allegory, and that others have implied throughout the ages, that human life is a divine experiment to see if the divine, separating itself into multi-facets and many individual expressions, appearing separate from each other, could remember what it's like to be united with all that is. In other words, from the place of separation consciousness, would we remember our unity? Would we remember to see, Namaste, the light in me, the divine in me is also in you. I recognize it and honor it. Would we be able to see that we are, in fact, one creation of the Creator, who is one? Would we recognize the law of one and come home? Would we do that? I think more and more and more evidence is available to those of us that look that this is exactly what we have done. And I believe it's from this energy that the OPPT was created by Heather and others, and why so many are climbing on board. And yes, there's going to be resistance. I don't expect there not to be resistance from those, again, that have been entrenched in the old system. They want to maintain the status quo. How it's going to come about, I don't know. Some people look at this as just another game of the elite, another plan of the Illuminati, especially people that want to maintain the status quo of their religious belief systems or their political ideologies or whatever it is that they want to hang on to, including the economic structure or the financial structure of the world that allows the fraud and the corruption to exist. Some people see that's my job, that's my living, that's how I earn my living. I can't let go of this because what will happen to me if I let go? These are all issues that humans are facing right now, today, at the end of February 2013 on this planet. These are real issues that are coming to the surface and boiling over, as it were, in humanity, in the collective consciousness. But I do agree with Heather, or at least with my added interpretation of what Heather says, that it does not take even the majority to awaken in order to shift the whole thing. If it did, I don't know that we would make it. It only takes the critical mass, and the critical mass, the definition that I choose to believe, is the square root of 1%. Is it the square root of 1/10 of 1% or the square root of 1% of the world's population? And I figured that whatever it was, I figured it out once, and it's only 8,000 and some odd people for a population of 7 billion. So it doesn't take a big amount of people. In fact, it's not a huge amount of people that have created the current matrix and have held it in place. And I do believe that some of those people that have held the current matrix in place are going to be some of the same people that are going to move us into the next matrix. Now you may say, Ron, are you saying that those that have conspired against humanity might be some of the very ones that help lead us out of it? It wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all that some of those highest up in the elite establishment have been becoming conscious of the role that they've been playing in the awakening. And once you become conscious that even your negative role has a positive effect, it changes forever. Once you see it, you can't not see it anymore. And once they reach that level of conscious awareness, hey, the game's over for them. They're no longer malevolent. They're no longer psychopathic. Now they see themselves as having played an essential role in the grand scheme of things, of the experiment to enter into separation consciousness, or as some say, enter into duality. I see that as, again, always see duality as a wonderful thing. I never see it as something that we need to get away from. But I define it differently than other people define it. I see duality merely as two sides of the same coin, or beautifully expressed pairs of opposites designed to dance with each other. But of course, we've not experienced it that way. We've experienced it as the dual, as the conflict, as the opposition, as the polarization. The polarization is still going on, but it's drawing to a conclusion because people are waking up. Because the contract, our divine contract, if you will, is fulfilled. We knew before we entered this, that there was going to be an end point. That the Creator was going to say, okay, you did it. You successfully completed what you attempted to do in separating yourselves. And of course, the Creator allowed the separation and maybe even encouraged it. Now, that might be hard for some people to grasp, but it's not hard for me to grasp at all. That the omniscient one would be able to see the end from the beginning. Not difficult at all, for that is the Alpha and the Omega. But it's in each of us. That's what I'm trying to get you to see. That's what Heather is trying to get people to see. That's what those that are on this spiritual path of awakening are trying to get everybody to see, including the people that are trying to hang on to their old fundamentalist mindsets of separation consciousness, where we think we've got to be always fighting. That that the evil one or the dark one or the Luciferian one or whatever you want to label the dark forces, they hold the upper hand. Well, do they really? Do they really? This is something that I'm pondering myself this morning. And yes, I have all of the anxieties that are present in the human family. I share in that. I share in the collective uncertainty of where am I going? I mean, I feel that from time to time, but I also feel from time to time more and more that, hey, it's all working the way it's supposed to work. This is a divine plan unfolding, and good wins, because we live in a world that is designed to bring us home. The matrix has been designed to bring us home. That's why it's been so hard, because we had to know the extreme, the negative extreme, if you will, in order to really appreciate and create the celebration of the homecoming. We needed that experience. Again, there's a spiritual principle that I think holds true. He that would ascend must first descend. And the level of our ascension, how high we're able to go, how much we're able to fly, depends on how deep we were willing to go. And when we recognize the oneness of all things, that what I see in you, what I see, whoever you are, whatever I see as other, if I recognize that that's also me, that that's my kin, that that's my part of my creation, my co-creation, that is me. I am that. I am. And we see that, and it changes the way we perceive things. Not that we're never going to feel fear. It's not a matter of escaping the negative. It's a matter of transmuting ourselves even within the negative, of transforming our experience from one that seems so negative and so pushing us down and restrictive to one of great expansion. We got compressed in and compressed in and compressed in by our fear, by our separation complex, if you will. But now an antiadromy is happening. The reverse flow of energy is happening. That's why the OPPT was created, for us, for all the people on the planet, even the ones that haven't awakened yet. But the process continues. The awakening goes on. And yes, Obama may be one of the greatest resistors of all. Is that a role that he's playing? I don't see Obama, like some people do, as one of the good guys. I wish I could. I wish I could. But I don't. I see him as relishing the game of playing the dark, moving the dark pieces. But he's only an actor too. It's really played at a much higher level. And that higher level, I believe, is already transforming, maybe already transformed. It just hasn't gotten down to the lower level players in the chess game. Interesting times we live in. And indeed, we are looking at a transformation on this planet, the likes of which the whole universe is excited to see. The game of separation is coming to an end. The prodigal sons and daughters of Creator God, if you will, are waking up. and we're coming home. And there are times that each of us experience the reality, I'm home. May this message resonate with your heart and soul. And again, I thank you for listening. Namaste.